Good morning, all of you. I, Dr. Badri Mohapatra, Assistant Professor, Instrumentation Engineering Department of AISMS IOIT Pune. Today we'll be discussing on control system. So in control system, we are discussing about two mass mechanical system. So in this case, we have to look at what is two mass mechanical system, then how we have to apply that laws particularly to that mechanical system, then how to find the transfer function of that system. So introduction to a two mass system. So consider a mechanical system as shown in the figure, which is consists of two mass. Here you can look at here mass M1 and mass M2, which is attached to a fixed base by a spring having constant K1 equal to 1, K2 equal to 2, and K3 is also 2. So the system is released from the rest at time t0 position. After that, M1 will be displaced by 1 unit from the left of its equilibrium position, and M2 is displaced 2 units to the right equilibrium position. So after that, one need to be find the equation, but one have to be know that what is the relations, how the equations which will be governed. Like here we have to be apply Newton's law of motions, particularly for this mass M1 and M2. So whatever the displacement, particularly for this mass M1 and M2, so there will be two equations which will be generated as there is two different mass M1 and M2, and which are connected with spring K1 and K2 as well as K3. So in both the equations, one have to be look at that suppose this is first mass M1, so it will be connected to K1 as well as K2. But this K2 which will be connected in between M1 and M2. So this expression when it will be relation with the force, so that can be written as like for K1 it is a single spring which will be connected to mass, so F equal to K1 into X1. But when it will be connected to this K2, it's connected to this M2, so that will be written as F2 K2 X2 minus X1, because this spring which will be effect in between mass M1 and M2. So after that, by look at this right hand side figure, one can write two equation, because two mass which will be which are there, and some springs which are connected. So as per the Newton's second law, whatever the force applied to that mass, so that will be governing equations. Like here you can look at here M1 X1 double dot is equal to F2 minus F1, and this value will be K2 H2 minus X1 minus K1 X1. Similarly, M2, this is related with second mass M2 X2 double dot is equal to minus F3 minus F2. So this is two relationship. So after finding this relationship, or you can say two equations, so one have to be put whatever the values of M1, K1, K2 like that, so that two equation again it will be generated. So after taking Laplace transformation of these two equations, will we find this equation as well as this equation. So from these two equations, if one will be solve that output by input, then we'll be find the transfer function of this two mass system. So two mass in the sense M1 and M2. So it is a two mass system. Thank you.